making acrobatics checks to slip through. Geth doesn't have to worry about that. Geth can literally like slip and slide, even in his full armor and heavy weapons. He can slide effortlessly through enemies like a hot plate flying butter. Yep. Perfect. That's going to give Geth a huge advantage. Awesome. Kellen's going to stand behind and he's just going to go, let me know when you need me to nuke. And Kellen's hands just start searing white and his eyes start to glow gold. I'm helping. Kellen looks around and he just goes, I've never seen this many enemies in one place. This is war, right? And he hears the sound of a crossbow bolt firing off the section of the kobolds, and it lands behind in the throat of one of the human soldiers of Waterdeep, and he gurgles and hawks up blood as the knight drops to the ground and they start to like form a defensive wall around Luciano and Melisandre. And Kellen goes, okay, we got this. This group of 4.
Do we roll anything?
We don't have to do it before. You just let me know what you're doing, and we're going to activate it all at once. And Geth has already told me where his armies are going.
All right. Cyrano is going to move slightly forward.
Sure.
And he's going to cast confusion on a group of kobolds.
I'm going to need you to make a. I'm going to need you to make a perception check. However, I am going to have you use your intelligence modifier instead of your wisdom. Basically, as Cyrano moves forward, you make a mental note of how the layout of the enemies were looking as the castle was crash landing, which you've got a decent look at. And then using that combined with like your rough understanding of physics, you're basically going to aim the spell upwards and try to like drop it on a group of enemies. So make a perception check, but instead of using wisdom, use intelligence. That's going to be your skill. Get Cyrano's skill challenge.
Oh, a lot. That's a 24.
24.
Is that the first time you
Just a
rolled
raw, yeah.
Okay.
That's
where do you want to aim it? You got pretty good.
Like right in the fucking middle if I
right
can.
in the middle of them. All right.
And it's gonna be a 20-foot diameter.
20-foot diameter confusion.
That's a 1. Those are some confused boys.
That's gotta go in here. Fine.
Yes.
That's a 1.
What a confused boy.
So Cyrano,
I'm more worried about the metal die.
as your army shores up and starts to like form up into a wedge and push forward against the undead, Lundquist like shores up his key and drops low and kind of like ties his laces real quick, and then Lundquist just starts sprinting up the side of the mountain. Holly hops onto her broom and flies up after Lundquist, and as they reach up, they crest the top of the hill just in time to see Cyrano just kind of like lean against the edge. He's like 30 feet back from where you were, and Cyrano just goes, when he starts making like a purplish ball of smoke around the center of his hands, he just goes, whew, and like underhand lobs it straight up.
No. You know he granny.
And just like bocce ball hurls it up the side of the cliff, and it crash lands, poof, and explodes into a purplish ball of smoke. All of a sudden, as Lundquist lands on the edge and a bunch of the kobolds turn, they're like, oh! They start like rushing to like load their crossbow bolts and aim them towards Lundy. You see a bunch of the kobolds in the center just kind of go, and then like some of the flying kobolds literally just like turn upside down and then just fly face first into the stone. A bunch of them just start shooting each other. One of them just starts shooting the ground. One of them literally starts like chewing on his crossbow. A bunch of them just sit down and like completely fuck off. You get like a solid like 20 kobolds in the center are now just causing an absolute riot and are fucking with the middle of their range.
I've got a sick idea for Holly.
Okay.
That's going to reduce the DC.
Okay. The next...
Readies her crossbow and hangs upside down from her bow and fires shots upside down. How sick is that shit?
That sounds good, but that sounds like an athletics check.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
It's dexterity.
Cyrano's action. Kellen's taking his
Plus,
action.
you have plus
so
3 in
we'll
strength,
off.
so don't even
Yeah,
give me that
that's
shit.
okay. That's tomorrow.
So since we're on this side, and before any of you have acted,
It's the same.
those two are going. Holly and Lundquist. Holly raises up above, and you see this happen on this side of the battlefield, and Lundquist hits the top. Both of you have actions to deal with. What do you want?
Dick fist. Dick flame. Flaming cock. How do you say
Whoa.
Fuck!
Burning hands.
Two of them, in the period of times that your confusion has gone off, two of them have managed to either kill each other or themselves. And then, Holly, you also have line of sight on them, so you can feel free to act.
And the penis attack him.
A penis attack?
That's flaming penis attack in German.
Oh, God.
So that's
Okay.
All right, so Sean, how many key points are you spending on this one?
How many do I
You have a 15-foot cone, so it's really only going to affect this
I
small
have
area.
14 key points.
You should have 13 key points now. No, you're level 15 now, right?
Yeah.
You should have 14 key points. I believe you spent 1 key point during the dragon
I'm
race.
going
You
to
currently
use
have
3.
Three key points? Okay. So you channel key in, and as you crest the top of the hill, you kind of like land hard on the ground as the kobolds are fumbling for their crossbows and aiming towards you. A couple of them are going to fire.
How many arrows can I catch at once? 2?
You can only
Is that
catch
too
one
many?
at a time. You know what? It's multiple things. You only have 1 reaction, but this is like...
The reaction is only spent if he wants to throw it back.
Oh, that's true. That's
No, wait, no, that's not true. You spend a chi point throw
Chi
back,
point throw back,
but
yeah.
you use
Yeah.
the reaction to catch the arrow.
Okay, so, we'll do it as 3 attacks. It's more than that, like 3 volleys. So does a 12 hit?
No.
Does a 20 non-natural hit?
Yeah.
And a 22. Okay. 2 volleys are going to go at you. I will say that you'll be able to catch 1 volley of arrows. It is a group of bolts firing at you. So the first volley of arrows is going to attempt to deal you 15 points of damage.
How do I go about catching it?
You basically spend your reaction, and then you roll a d10 plus your monk level plus your...
You reduce the damage by that much.
Yeah, you're a d10 plus your proficiency bonus plus your monk level. So 5 plus...
5, which is proficiency bonus.
Well, your proficiency bonus is 5 and your monk level is currently 14. So
19.
a d10 plus 19 that was going to deal you 15 points of damage. Yeah, you don't even need to roll. Literally a bunch of arrows fly at you, and ow, that hurts. That one's going to be 18. So the first volley, like a couple of the bolts like sort of like bounce against your armor, dent and kind of bruise you and injure you, and all that does is it dents against your hardened body. You just kind of like crack a bunch of them away as they like, or you kind of like dodge to the side to avoid them from hitting any vital parts. The other ones you just kind of like swat away with your hands, grab a handful of them, and just kind of catch a number of the bolts in your hands, and then you can spend a key point to throw some of the arrows back. Or you can also unleash your Dick Fist.
What does wholeness of body do? I can't be poisoned. Never mind.
Yeah.
I will...
But Lundquist does take 15 points of damage, but the other 18 points of damage is null and void. You just grab the arrows and block them out.
Can I still Dick flame if I
If
throw
you
an arrow
throw,
back?
yeah, absolutely. It's part of the
Okay,
same
then yeah, I'm
reaction.
going to do that.
So you spend another key point, so you spend 4 now.
Yep.
You spend another key point, you just kind of let out a roar, like a Lundquist, like dwarven roar of anger. And you throw a bunch of the arrows backwards, sort of leading into a cone of destruction, and the fire trails with them, sort of peppering the area around you in burning flame and singeing fire. I'm going to need you to make a spell attack. Spell attack will you add your proficiency in your wisdom. So plus 5 and
3, plus 8.
So plus 8 to that.
18.
18 altogether? Okay. Yep. Roll 5d6 and 2d4.
2, 8, 13, 16, 19.
19, and then add 2d4. Yep.
1 and a 3, so 4 in total. 23.
23 altogether, plus your wisdom plus 3, so 26. You manage to deal 26 points of damage to a frontal group of these kobolds, and you watch as this entire section of them just with the fire covers over the arrows, like pin them backwards and knock them into each other. Several of the kobolds in the front melt and are otherwise incinerated. You clear a wide swath of that section of the battlefield for your group. Kobolds have been weakened in the DC to defeat them, reduced even further. Lundquist makes it to the top of this. Holly, what do you got?
Wow, those kobolds are gonna have Vietnam flashbacks.
Again, a bunch of them are looking
No,
at
they're
each
not.
other.
Be
And a
dead.
bunch of the kobolds behind are just wildly firing arrows in random directions.
I'm gonna shoot 2 arrows.
Shooting 2 arrows as your contribution, sounds good. Make 2 attack rolls.
So 24.
You killed one.
Did I?
Your minimum damage kills them, I'm pretty sure.
Wait, don't you have a thing that allows your arrows to explode out from whatever something you hit?
Hail
Oh,
Thorns.
thorns.
What's the radius on that?
10 feet.
It's everything within,
Yeah.
well, it's everything within 5 feet of the target.
Oh, okay.
I figure I'll use that on bigger things like kobolds too.
Yeah, too early to be spending resources like that.
15 damage?
15 damage with 1 arrow?
Yeah.
You're firing at...
Whichever.
Okay. There's kobolds that are about to flank Lundquist. Do you want to aim towards
Yeah.
those? Okay. So you're going to try to
They
protect
ruined his
Lundquist.
spine?
You're getting surrounded. Holly, from the back of her broom, makes an effortless shot and literally pins straight through one of the winged kobolds. Takes him straight down. Another guy is creeping up behind Lundquist and he's loading a bolt and trying to like duck low and aim for the base of his spine, trying to put a pinpoint black in Lundquist's face.
What?
What you got?
That was a number. Sorry. Multiples of 7, so it shouldn't be hard. 21?
That hits. Yep.
21.
I was dabbing.
I believe
I
you.
believe you.
I do it at work and I look like an idiot.
No, you don't. You look like you.
Only 8
There.
damage?
8 points of damage?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a kobold. So another you hear it like blast through the side of this kobold's neck, and then the one sneaking up behind Lundquist is no longer alive to continue its stealthy onslaught.
And
Reduce the DC by a small amount.
You did it.
Crowbar is in the bulk of the grub. I'm moving all of these at once.
Well, I didn't know if he was going to go on my turn because he's my bonus action.
We're not really using turns. Yeah, you're going to use your bonus action to command Kurmar, so Kurmar will act with this group. That is no. Okay.
He's just going to use the help action.
Oh, to just make their attacks better?
Yeah.
Sounds good. It's basically going to make the DC for dealing with things easier. Okay. And then this group is going
Oh,
up.
can I move in?
Oh, yeah, you want to fly up?
Yeah.
You are floating above Lundquist by a small amount. You're probably about 10 feet above. Okay. This group is focusing on the Nomad's Gate, trying to get their armies to come through while this group moves down. These soldiers are going to attempt to push through. Furnir and Cyrno providing some additional magical support, but they've currently been distracted by either helping the party or interfering with them. What about this squadron of people? Callista, Unity, Lem. After that, we'll move the rest of the turn.
I mean, Lem's shtick is he wants to find high priority targets.
Okay.
There's a bunch of them over there, huh?
They're about to get toasted.
Have them make a perception
Right?
check. Speaking of high priority targets.
I got a switch, I'm hit.
Watching TV.
Oh, no. Is that from Mortal Kombat?
What?
Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion.
He takes his helmet on his
And goes,
face off.
18.
18 of perception. Yeah, you were able to find Lem as you were falling down from the castle slowly with its feather fall. You were able to find like in the back towards like this bulk of undead, a couple of like undead, intelligent-looking necromancers in great and like elaborate cultist robes. This entire section was just fucking kobolds. Like it's all just kobolds in like piecemeal armor. These look like a bunch of tougher guards. You see a creature that make an Arcana check for me.
Nope.
Yeah, You see a creature
know
that
that.
looks large, metallic, and covered in spinning blades, but you
Wow.
can't quite identify exactly what it is. That's this thing right here. You see a couple of like hooded figures with swords, sort of like rune tattered armor, possibly undead, but it was hard to tell from that distance. And you can see over there some sort of winged, like elemental monstrosity. You can tell it's comprised of some sort of elemental energy, but you can't quite tell what's making it up. And it was standing next to a pedestal. You couldn't quite make out what the pedestal was because this thing was kind of blocking your view. However, as you focus your senses with an 18 on your perception, you listen up towards that area, and your brain it's gotten used to it since it's been on the battlefield, but you hear a consistent, steady, obnoxious droning. And you remember
It's long.
the dragon.
Oh.
There was a powerful horn that they were blowing to embolden and empower the chromatic dragons and weaken the metallic dragons. It sounds like some sort of large cacophonous sound is centered on this area, and as you focus your attention, it's difficult to do. But you can tell that most of the sound is centered on that section of the cliff. You will look over and see the cliff slightly rumbling as well underneath these sound waves, and your theory is proven true.
Okay. Then. I guess before the dragon attack, what would be ideal is if I could get the devil army to go over there and.
You're going to send the devils, you're going to try to send them there?
Well, yeah, just to get rid of that.
Okay.
It's an assassination thing.
Sure, that seems reasonable. So Lem is going to basically like reach out to Lord Volmer, who has communication with you on the battlefield. By thinking telepathically, you sort of spell out the location of those high priority targets and tell him to get the job done. And you can hear a sinister cackling in the back of your head. I was hoping for a fight today. Excellent. Consider it done.
Kill those murderers dead.
So Len is going to command the devil forces to go there. Okay.
Yes.
As for Unity and Callista.
Unity's gonna stay as subtle as possible because LOL, and because that's what she does.
Stay stealthy.
She's gonna focus on herself being a low, inoffensive target for now, and obviously look for higher priority targets. Of course, there's 2 cliffs with assholes on each, and she can't see above them. She rolled poorly on her perception,
Gotcha.
so she'll follow Lem's lead, I guess.
Make a stealth check to lay low. For Unity.
Yeah, no.
And then after that, this group is moving. Well, after Callista makes a decision on what she wants to do, this group is moving. And then we'll react. Sean, you have 3 armies. You're focused on the kobolds, so the armies are gonna, you're gonna kind of just tell them to go do whatever they feel necessary?
For long quest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Divide and conquer or whatever.
Yep.
9.
I know what
It's
I
not
know what I'm
right.
gonna do.
It's a lot harder than that.
It's 24.
I mean,
It's a big number.
it's gonna be a whole
I got a 24.
24 on stealth? Okay.
Because I default to 10 if I roll under it.
Oh, right, yeah, so that's a good enough roll. Attacks, if any stray attacks across the battlefield come flying towards Unity, they're at disadvantage against you.
Okay.
So remind me to roll with disadvantage again if any attacks stray towards you.
Okay. Callista will want to be providing sniper fire with her Eldritch Blast because why the fuck not?
It's going to be Eldritch blasting individuals off cliffs, okay? Or onto cliffs, into cliffs.
Yeah, she can
Where
absolutely.
are you
Anyone-
focusing the bulk of your Eldritch blasts?
Well, how high are these cliffs? You said they're
80 feet up, yep.
She wouldn't be able to see anybody up here then.
Probably not. You're also really close to this one, so you probably wouldn't be able to see up there. You have to just kind of guess.
Well, if there are any kobolds peeking their heads over the cliff to take shots at them, should focus on taking them out first.
Okay, so I'm going to have you make, I'm not worried about the attack rolls, since I'm assuming it's going to hit. I'm going to have you make a charisma check using your proficiency bonus. Basically like a spell attack.
Yeah, I got you.
And then basically that's you kind of like focusing and like channeling your Elder's Blast. And if an enemy's, how we do?
A straight up charisma check?
Yeah, charisma plus proficiency.
Well, it's gonna be a 14 then.
14? Okay. Okay, so, that being said, you're able to get a pretty good bead, and some of your shots will manage to hit and knock some of them away. You do a decent job at decreasing the effectiveness of the enemy's sniper attacks. Enemies that are going to be striking in roughly this area, anything that's down here, they have a slight disadvantage to hit. Not actual disadvantage, but the bonus is reduced.
Right.
As you sort of like precision pick off some of the quicker snipers with your Elder's Blast. Then inspirations or no?
Saving those.
Saving inspirations. Gotcha. Okay. So
Because I have no idea how they will affect the battlefield in this instance.
sure. I mean, yeah. You're just basically giving someone an inspiration, not using another action as well. Okay. So with that, this group begins to prepare. Some of them have called their forces in. Raffi bringing his forces with him.
He'll tell the Emerald Enclave and the Misty Forest selves to stay behind us and back us up.
Provide.
Giants should help come forward with us.
Okay, so the giants move towards the front of the battlefield and begin like sort of frothing, and they're like, Lego stampede.
Callista is going to take notice of this, and she's going to be like, with all these forces going down the middle, we're going to absolutely draw the attention of chromatic dragons. So we should absolutely prepare a counter-offensive for when they come in to sweep in against us.
Melisana goes, I'm on it. And she holds back and she says, Forces of Neverwinter, I want your mages trained on the skies. Shoot down any dragons you can see or distract them. Melisana will send the mages of Neverwinter. Oh, and she has the arcane. She's going to send the Waterdeep forces up here through the portal. The mages of Neverwinter stay behind. She sends the soldiers through as well. The mages and then her other...
Red Wizards?
Do I have the Red Wizards or the Arcane Brotherhood?
I have it written down.
I have the Red Wizards, yeah. Then the Red Wizards of Fae and the mages of Neverwinter are going to stay back.
So everyone just
and,
know what armies you have. This is them.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's that group. The main body in the center. Who else has forces that have...
Oh, right. Callista's got the Red Wizards.
Geth
Right.
moved his...
Yeah, Geth's got,
Did I read it wrong?
Oh, I
Yeah,
have...
Melisana has the
Oh,
Arcane.
Arcane
sorry,
Brother.
I
Okay,
swapped it.
that's okay. I have the Arcane Brother. That works. Totally. Okay.
Oh, Callista will try to tell the Red Wizards to try to wrestle control from some of the undead that were before them.
Oh, attempting... Okay, perfect. So, here's what happens. As the forces begin to bear down on your group, the main body yells, Charge! And everyone pushes through the center. The giants come stampeding through. Geth, you had the Flaming Fist try to climb up this side?
yeah, they're going to go up that side, but after the dragon assault, if possible.
And the dragons aren't attacking.
Okay.
And the dragons aren't attacking until the devils attack.
Okay, so first thing that happens, the devils are going to attempt to transport in and deal as much precision damage as possible.
Specifically to get rid of that thing.
That big.
Oh, the big thing? Okay, sure.
Yes.
So a number of devils pop in and then immediately start trying to make precision attacks. Geth has commanded them and has given them the information has commanded them and given them the information that they need to sort of make sense of the battlefield. They're going to have advantage on this roll, and they're going to add Lem's charisma modifier to their skill check. 5. 5? Okay. So skill check against that group. As you guys are moving around, that is a total of 25. The devil army, led by Lord Volmer, materializes around this area. Immediately, several of the devils in the back, the smaller devils, the bone devils, and like some of the larva devils, some of the smaller creatures that kind of appear near here, just immediately, this horrifying sonic noise lifts them up off the ground and bodily hurls some of them off the cliff. But most of the devils that are there stay strong. They begin stabbing, some of them hexing the sides of the armor, and as this creature begins swirling around, sawing through some of the devils, Lord Volmer is going to kind of like hold up both of his hands, and as he kind of like manipulates the creature, he gets its arms to kind of twist and contort. It starts sawing into its own armor. He starts heating it up with a heat metal spell, and the other devils sort of like create a defensive shield around him. As the other groups move forward, including this figure and this heavy hammer-wielding figure, they sort of start to engage in combat with them, and over the course of the next minute, you see Lord Volmer's eyes flare with red intensity, and he lifts the large golem-like creature up into the air and just sort of like closes his fist together. The creature crumbles into a heap of molten slag metal.
Oh.
25. The shield guardian is destroyed.
So that's what that was.
Yes. The devils are all up here sort of engaging them and weakening the enemies. That force is now currently crippled, and your devil army is damaged. There are 3 stages: damaged, crippled, and depleted. When your army is depleted, you can no longer use them.
That makes sense.
That army. So that section of the group is crippled. With that, the dragons are then going to do a sweeping attack across. Geth is choosing to use his action mostly to command them. So in that case, Geth will be providing his charisma bonus as a bonus to them as well.
Yes, which is also fine.
They just kind of are making a sweeping attack and they don't have a ton of extra advantage, so it's just going to be a regular roll. Guy plus 5. 4 plus 5 is 9. The dragons make a quick sweeping attack, but as the dragons start to get close to the battlefield, you see
Does Kurumaru go in the middle?
Kurumaru's down here.
Blark.
Well, Geth is going to do it then.
Yeah, Kurumaru's going to help this entire
see.
force with their
Okay.
battle, but he's not going to help any of the ones that are fighting up here. As the dragons swoop in, you can see banking red, blue, and black dragons swirl around the side, and a bunch of them kind of come and flank the dragon army as they get close. They slam into them and start creating a huge ruckus in the air, fire and lightning exploding off in random directions and streaking across sections of the battlefield. The dragons are able to do like a decent amount of damage to this group, but not enough to cause them enough damage to significantly affect them. They deal a little bit of damage. This army has taken some damage, but is otherwise okay. The dragon army is damaged. Several of their members go down immediately as big adult dragons crash into their neck and tumble them into the side, slamming hard into the rocks. Some are dashed against the sides of spiky stalagmites, and you hear their heads crack and their scales splinter as they crumble to the ground.
Brutal.
Some of the dragons are heavily damaged, but the army still remains mostly intact.
Yes.
Following that, we have the Flaming Fists trying to grapple the cliffs. Flaming Fists are proficient in athletics, so they will be getting advantage on this check. And as Geth gains them an official command and is using his action to command, they will have advantage on their check. It's not a ton, but as they have a +8 to athletics, it is enough. The Flaming Fists kind of slowly, ungainly, and mostly ungracefully cramble themselves above the cliff. Some of these soldiers sort of like tumble rocks down and take off sheer sections of the fight. The group manages to get themselves up onto the cliff, and the army sort of spreads about and immediately begins engaging with these enemy forces. However, they've taken a decent bit of damage in the climb. The Flaming Fists are now damaged. That happens there. After that, the mages begin attempting to